Ahoy there, crew. It's time for the ultimate showdown. I think it is anyway. I think it's time for a showdown between a Star Destroyer and a Starship Enterprise, which I'm going to build. Now, this Star Destroyer is pretty big, but we're going to need to build something brand new, and it's going to have to be chunky sized for the Enterprise as well. So if that's the size of a Star Destroyer, I've been studying the internet very carefully to receive accurate plans of the Starship Enterprise. And as best as I can make out, the Enterprise from, say, the next generation is about half as long as the Star Destroyer. The problem with that is that, well, I don't know if we can fit quite enough Enterprise into that space, but I'm going to give it my jolly best go. So I'm going to crack on and get on with this plan. And then you're going to come back and we're going to watch which will win, the Enterprise or an Imperial-class Star Destroyer. Place your bets in the poll and we'll see how it works out. By my estimate, this is about as good as I can get the shape. It's quite a fiddle to try and exactly line up the shape of the Enterprise. I don't have any fancy CAD program here. I'm just winging it on my own. And I think that's about right. Scale is not too far off. It's acceptable. I wish I could just stretch this just a little bit, but that's okay. I think this is okay, and it gives us a good canvas to work from. Now we've got to fit it out. And really, of course, one of the most important things to do is to give this thing some blimmin' big engines at the back. And I'm going to kind of really emphasize the engines for this, because it should have pretty substantial maneuverability. This thing can turn on a dime compared to the joyous Star Destroyer. Now, there is reference in the diagrams and the schematics I have seen on the internet, and of course that is always where I go for honest truth, of engines here ready for the the saucer, that's right, for the saucer to steer around. So I've got one there. Likewise, shields. I'm quite happy using 2 large bubble shields on this thing, because there is definitely reference to them. So I'm thinking I'll make sure they overlap quite neatly. Something like that I think would be good. Do I want to move this one around a bit? Yeah, I mean, one for the saucer and one for the body. I think that's fine. The engines, I'm actually going to be a little bit generous, because I don't feel that this thing will have anywhere near enough maneuverability if I don't help it a bit. I'm going to give it some side thrusters, and that's just a... Oops, that one needs to go back. That's just a nod to the realities of dealing with this game and the physics associated with it. So we're just going to have to accept that and not stress too much about it. Okay, fans, I know there'll be some people out there for whom the nature of the Star Trek ship is going to be very important, and I just can't. I can't make that all work for you every time. So there you go. I think it's got enough thrust now. Now we really need to think about weapons, the most important thing. And for me, it needs to have... It needs to have quite a few missile batteries. And that's not necessarily because the Enterprise has a lot of missile batteries. It's because the missile batteries on the Enterprise should be pretty blooming tough. I was tempted to put them down here somewhere and have them shoot out the sides, but based on the diagrams, there really isn't enough room to make that work. So I'm going to instead put them on the side here, just to represent where the photon torpedoes might launch from. But I will need to make sure I have enough factories around for that. And that's going to be a bit of a fiddle. So I'm going to do that off camera. The other thing I think we really need is some ion beam emitters. And that's because, the Enterprise has its sort of pew-pew laser, but it's not a pew-pew laser like the Star Wars laser. It's kind of a turn on, zap, and turn off again. And it seems like a good idea to give them these ion beam emitters as the closest thing we can go. And of course, because we're flying around with Data on board, and Data is extremely clever, I'm going to give them some tools to help take down shields, because wearing out shields is something that, We've got shield modulation. That was in the documentary I just watched, the true life story of Enterprise fighting some Klingons. They had some issues with shields. They did some tricks with some shield modulation, and wham, they were down. And the Klingons got blown up, of course. So there we go. That should be quite a lot of firepower that way. And now it's just a matter of really, I've got to fit in these missiles and power the whole thing up. And here we are with everything pretty much spec'd out. So I'm just going to go over the blueprint quickly. We have got our nice beams at the front, our electron pulse things to take down the shields. We've got a bit of engines because we have to. This is Cosmoteer. We've got multiple missile racks here. And the reason I put multiple in is I heard Riker once say that he wanted a spread of photon torpedoes. And you can't have a spread if you don't have a spread of missile launchers. And since we can't fire them just, I don't know, randomly, I thought I'll put in a bunch. And also in Star Trek, the photon torpedoes are pretty damn powerful, so we're going to have to make sure that's right. I've put in a ton of power storage because it doesn't explode the same way that power generation does. So this will hopefully, actually, I'm just thinking, might take those out. I want a little bit of separation. So yeah, hopefully this will help the general strength of this craft by ensuring that power generation, dangerous activity that it is well away from the front of the vessel or any areas that could get damaged. I'd love to separate it by actual armor, but I don't really want to sacrifice the storage. So there's a ton of storage, lots of generators in the middle. I think this should be pretty safe. Now, I have been criticized for putting power generators too close to the front of other vessels, like when I was fiddling around with the Star Destroyer. But, in Star Wars, stuff goes bang all the time. If you get onto a big ship and it has some critical strike everywhere, the whole thing tends to go up, right? It doesn't matter if it's a planet, warship, whatever it is. In Star Trek, these things take tons of hits over and over again, and they just wobble around in the control room. See, I've got 4 of them here. I've got 4 bridges to simulate the size of the Star Trek bridge. They wobble around in there, and they're generally happy as Larry at that point. So, yeah, I think we will be okay. The worst that happens is, I don't know, some breaches are somewhere and some poor red shirt dies, but never mind, plenty of those around. Thrown armor on everything, given it a nice curved shape, I would like to think. Hopefully you agree that it looks quite snazzy. I think it's looking rather fancy. So let's just make it so and wait for everything to be powered up. How are you looking? It's going to take them a little while. Come back to you once they're done. Alright, everything is powered up. Power storage is at max. Missiles are at max. Let's see how it moves. Not too bad. Compared to a Star Destroyer, it is moving better, faster. That feels appropriate. Engines are blazing away there. I'd almost love to put more in, but it would kind of compromise the look of the whole thing, I think. So, yeah, look, spinning around kind of Star Trek type speeds. This guy, he's very slow. So I need to separate these 2 bad boys out a little bit. And then I'll let them come at each other. I'll put on the AI, since the AI one-on-one should be quite workable. Swarms, weird things seem to happen. And then let's see what happens. Right, time to vote in the poll. Who is going to do what? Let's switch this over Team 4. Let's give it the Bounty Brain Hard AI. And we'll give you an AI of Bounty Brain Hard as well. And let's see what happens when they meet on this imaginary battlefield. What is going to happen? Why are you... Oh dear. What are you planning to... You're planning to sit over there. What are you planning to do? You're planning to come at it from the side. Oh. And a rack of missiles. A rack of missiles is flying. The point defense will take them down, but I do expect a pretty substantial offensive by the Enterprise as soon as its beams come on board. Doing just fine. You're actually popping through... Are you going to pop through the bubble so you can get nice and close, Enterprise? That's a little bit cheeky. It's a little bit cheeky. And now they're all out of power. Are we suffering much damage yet? Oh no, we are losing beam emitters. The shields have gone down. And now bits of boat are going up. Why? You're suffering badly as well because of these wonderful emitters here. Missiles are doing some damage, but not nearly enough, and the shield generator here doesn't seem to be getting the priority it should. It's out of power already, which I find unusual. What are these guys doing? The bubble shield's back up, but it has taken a pretty critical blow to the front, and those missiles are going to have a really hard time getting through. All weapons lost. No critical fires broke out, just the weapons lost. But it does feel like the edge is definitely with the Star Destroyer at present. Let's speed things up and see what happens. If you come and hang around the back here, you might do better. You know what? I'm actually not sure you're doing better. No, you're actually just getting worse. This shield gets way too hammered and they just can't keep up. They can't keep the shield up, and that's causing massive problems. Yeah, I think the Enterprise is suffering here. The sheer volume of firepower coming off the Star Destroyer is an issue. But you know what? I think if the Enterprise came in a bit smarter, went for a weak spot, it might be able to survive this a bit better. As it stands, oh my goodness, that was all the power going up. Oh gosh. Picard is currently wetting himself, or at least in small pieces somewhere as the Hulk of the Enterprise, I don't know, drifts off to be destroyed. Well done, Star Destroyer. You have absolutely earned your keep today. I think we'll just unceremoniously self-destruct the remaining pieces of the Enterprise, and perhaps try again in a second. Being a bit of an idiot, I actually forgot to save the ship, so I have gone through and made a couple of modifications. First of all, I've made sure those two bubble shield emitters are overlapping. Seems only fair, because that is the case in the case of the Star Destroyer, so yeah, I want it to be fair there. And also, I've given it slightly better forward deflector shields, because you can always divert power to forward deflector shields, so now we have that as an option. There is a ton of power around these shields. There is no excuse for them ever running out of juice now. There are enough just random people kicking around that it shouldn't be a problem. Gave it a little bit more engine thrustability around these engine nacelles. It seemed to be appropriate. The Enterprise is pretty nimble for a ship of its size, and these engine nacelles should be providing a great deal of that nimbleness, which is what they're doing now. So I think it's only a matter of cranking this bad boy over to the bounty. Actually, no, I'm going to leave it on AI none, and we're just going to try and take on the Star Destroyer, and we're going to try and get in behind it. I think that's probably our best bet, and look, it's pretty nimble now. Go for it. Now I want... Okay, so actually I'm going to switch you to the Barbarian faction. That's right, and you are going to have, we'll make sure, yep, you're on Bounty Brain Hard. So what I want is for you to hang behind as close as possible. Actually, we want to get those close range weapons in as well. See if you can do it. The Star Destroyer is coming for you, so watch out, Enterprise. A volley of photon torpedoes are not doing very much. Will you please try and shuffle around? Yes, rotate, rotate, rotate. I don't want you guys to be shooting through each other's shields. That will not end well for the Enterprise. Enterprise, you need to... Oh, no, 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 no. That is not good. Oh, we have lost some weapons. We have lost more weapons. One shield is up. These shields at the back, they just can't populate them fast enough. And are we maneuverable enough for the Enterprise to get around behind? I'm not sure we are. As fast as we're turning, the Enterprise is being hammered by the Star Destroyer. And it's not getting any better. Even though we have, in theory, lots of storage for missiles, it's not really helping. I don't know. If we get right in the back, I think the Enterprise is slightly outturning the Star Destroyer, but not by much. There goes the front of the Star Destroyer. Oh, sorry, of the Enterprise. And that, I'm afraid, is pretty much game over. I don't know if I could do anything differently on this. Is the Star Destroyer overpowered? It certainly seems that way, but then again, the Enterprise is not designed for the sheer destruction that this ship is, so I don't know. Maybe it's not so bad. I am a bit disappointed in those shields. They're certainly not holding up the way I had hoped. And I guess it's mostly just because of the massed ion cannons here. With a few less ion cannons, maybe it would be a different a different thing altogether. But the Enterprise has been destroyed by the Imperials. What can we do? The Star Destroyer is clearly far more powerful than it has any right to be. And I think it's time we actually and absolutely took it down. So we're gonna cross genres even more. I'm gonna have some Y-Wings over here. And we are going to also throw in the Millennium Falcon. Maybe some X-Wings as well while we're at it. I'm not even going to count. We're just going to lose count here. Yes, R2, you're coming for a fight. Let's hope you don't die like everything else. And I don't know, maybe some more Y-Wings? Maybe some more Y-Wings. They need to join in the fight. Even though I'm a bit disappointed with their maneuverability. They don't nearly move as well as I'd hoped. Will that do it? I think it will. But we need all of them over here first. And we're going to try again to get in behind in this final fight scene. Will we win? I don't know. No, this way. Well, oh gosh. These guys are not nearly as maneuverable as they should be for tiny fighters. He's coming for you, lads. Okay, so there's nothing for it. We'll just have to get right in the back with everything. Come on, chaps and chapesses. What on earth are you doing, Enterprise? On 4 times speed, they're all a little bit hopeless. Oh, yeah, the first one's going straight in. They are going to be toast. Everyone else, can you survive? I think the Star Destroyer is just so maneuverable. It's going to be hard for them to take it down. The Enterprise is coming in slowly. Millennium Falcon protected by, I don't know, just launching missiles randomly that they don't damage our friendlies, fortunately, but they are a pain. Oh, shields are down at the back. The Y-Wings are circling around for the takedown. Will they? Okay, you guys, you need to focus on these engines and these parts here, okay? I'll try and give you a bit of help there. Enterprise is holding up really well, sitting at the back, stately, very statesmanly-like, which seems appropriate. But these shields are again up, and they are having to get quite close to poke through the shields. They're just flying through the shields. But look, none of them can keep up, really, with the speed of the Star Destroyers turning. Oh, all those engines are gone. It can turn, it just can't move forward. So that is, you know, we talked about that, the critical weakness of the Star Destroyer design. And the beams are coming on for the Enterprise. It is being left alone by the Star Destroyer, which is good. These little guys are just providing kind of ablative shielding by getting in nice and close. It'd be nice if their explosions would damage the ship, but it doesn't seem their way. Oh, here comes the Enterprise. Well done, you've got into the position you needed to be in. And if you can just hover there, come on Enterprise, get nice and close. Snuggle your nose in. Power is out. That is a real shame. Oh my goodness, this could be it. We're just going to slice our way through the back. I'm even amazed the Millennium Falcon here is holding up. But dude, why are you hovering there? Come on, try and get around the back. Millennium Falcon, come on. No control room, not operational. What? You've lost this control room, but there's one in the back I know there is somewhere. The missiles are still firing. It is providing a distraction while the Enterprise just cuts its way into the back here. And you need to really focus on this unit here. I need all the ions taking down that shield. And then I think we'll see... Yeah, I think we'll see a fair fight finally. Autosave, of course. Interesting how these missiles are just zipping around the sides and taking little pot shots at the fringes. And you guys, all of you... oh, you did it. Exactly what I wanted you to do. See if you can take out that second ray there. Oh, the poor old Millennium Falcon. Chunks cut out of it, but missiles still firing. Where is my... There's the second captain. I don't believe it. There's actually no way in. I can't... Oh, that would be bad. I can't repair it. We've actually left no door to the control room, so of course it has one, but it can't do anything. What a silly tiny pirate I am. Now, meanwhile, the Star Destroyer might finally have faced its match. And all it took was the Enterprise to have a bit of cover while it got into position. And the missiles, you know, they're being shot down by point defense. The Star Destroyer has a ton of point defense. But it is being a little bit overwhelmed at this point. can you try and take on... I need all the... look, these guys are all facing... They're all shooting the wrong thing. And I need all of them to basically focus on taking down this shield so we can cut through here. They're starting to do it now. Good. And you guys, you've got like a ton of armor to cut through, so you're having a bad day as well, aren't you? Oh, one of them's gone up. I'm not exactly sure why. Was it being hit by anything? There's just one laser just still firing. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, the nose has been destroyed. I think missiles took it out. Oh, I think it's all over for the Star Destroyer now. Let's speed things up a little bit. What is all the way up here? Oh, X-Wing with no control room. So basically we're down to the Enterprise, a heavily damaged Millennium Falcon, 2 Y-Wings. But now that we've got the sort of the edge on it, there's no coming back from this, I'm afraid. Chunks are being blown off. It's basically game over, I think, at this point. Nothing else this poor Star Destroyer can do. Enterprise is just going to shove those Y-Wings out of the way and continue to cut straight through the middle. We just need it to cut all the way to here. I am still amazed that the Star Destroyer is even capable of resisting at this point, although I think that just ended and we're down to the final pieces of ship being taken out. Are these even still firing? No. Yes! There's chunks of the Star Destroyer flying away, firing back. The Imperials never give up. It's all that advanced training, I suppose. And now we're just in cleanup duty. Oh, that was a fantastic battle. I really enjoyed that. I hope you did too. If you did, let me know. Give me a hearty ahoy in the comments below. And tell me if you guessed correctly on the poll. I was thinking the Enterprise had a much better chance than it turned out to in the first battle there. But, wow, what can you do? You can't always predict what's going to happen in Cosmoteer. That's part of the fun. Until next time, I've been TinyPirate. Do subscribe if you like this kind of stuff. I enjoy building games, simulation games like this, fun sandbox games. Good night.